This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by heavyweight contender Hughie Fury. Hughie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, thank you very much. How are you, sir?
I'm all good, thanks. Good to hear you doing well. I've just come down to the gym today. I was expecting your father to be here as well, and then I realised on the way up it's his birthday, so what's he been up to?
My dad is a busy man as always, but he's obviously not able to make it today, so yeah, but he's just been always kicking our ass in the gym, so it's all good.
What have you got him for his birthday?
It's a surprise. He's not seen it yet. But no, it's just a picture. But I'm sure he'll like it.
Any chance I can see it afterwards?
I ain't got it here, so you can't see it.
So what are you going to be up to with him on his birthday, on his special day?
Not too sure really. If he's about later on, probably go for a bit of food and that's about it, yeah.
It's one thing that I've always found interesting when I interview people who have their trainer who's a father. Do you ever struggle, or not necessarily struggle, but you kind of like, you're there in the gym and you're like, all right, Dad, I know what I'm doing, just leave me to it? Or is it ever like a fractious relationship at times, or is it always smooth and easy going?
Yeah, it's quite easy going. Listen, I hang on every word my dad says because, listen, he's a very experienced trainer. He knows what he's saying. So me and my dad's relationship is good. Whatever he says, I'll listen to, and he guides me in the right path and hasn't guided me wrong. So, yeah, there's no reason why we struggle.
Talking about his guidance, then what have you got lined up in the coming months or the rest of this year?
Hopefully get back out there soon. There's no dates been confirmed yet exactly, but hopefully be getting back out there as soon as possible. But I'm looking forward to riding, especially this year, to enter as a nice fashion show to get back in.
That's what I was going to ask. On the back of Pulev, Sam Sexton prior to that, and then Joseph Parker. Only those 3 fights over these past couple of years or so. Do you feel you need to be a bit more active this year just to get yourself back into the mix? Yeah,
listen, I've had a bit of bad luck with those fights, cuts and stuff like that coming up, and things pop up. But everything happens for a reason, and what don't kill you makes strong. You just got to keep biting your teeth and pulling through. But everything's on the right track now, and I'm just looking forward and enjoying the ride and getting back out this year.
You've obviously as well, you've just mentioned bad luck. You've had your injury problems, not just during the fights, but in camp. I remember before you fought Fred Cassie, the issues that you had there. Are those completely solved now, or they're still always niggling away? Yeah.
No, they've been there in the past, and like I say, it wasn't one thing to cut just before the last fight, and then all things get in the way. But all that's behind me now, and listen, things do pop up, and I believe everything happens for a reason. That's from today. But the lucky thing is, I'm still young, and you just got to keep, when you have that bit of bad luck, it's not about just getting up in the gym and just giving up and disheartening yourself. It's about pushing yourself and getting back in the ring and exactly training and working on the mistakes you've never done. So everything's been going well, and I'm just looking forward to it. I'm so eager now to get back out there.
You've just mentioned you're so young, you're only 24. I don't think many people realise that. Do you kind of feel like your age kind of works against you at the same time because you've been involved in boxing for a while, or is it working in your favour at the minute?
Yeah, it's working in my favour, I believe. I believe the experience I've had for such a young age, been around the world, fought all different types of fighters, I don't think you can beat experience, and that's the truth. So I'm just looking forward to now is perfecting all that experience I've had and then putting it into these fights that's coming up.
Now, before we come on to what's coming up, because we actually don't know what you have lined up, let's just reflect on some of your past fights. Let's start off with Joseph Parker. You didn't really get the credit you deserved at the time for your performance. What was you making of the way that the fight was told by maybe the press or the fans, the way that they saw it?
Like I say, I was at the ring for two years previous to that fight. That was my first fight back from all my illnesses and my problems and stuff, but obviously there was a little ring rust there, but I believe I won the fight easy enough with Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker just never couldn't get his shots off, and like I say, I never threw the thingy, but I do believe that fight there I definitely won it. But it's one of them, you can't dream about the past or thing. In life it happens, and there's a lot of politics involved, so you just got to get on with it. And then obviously after that one I had the Sam Sexton fight. That was, like I say, yeah, I felt good for that fight. It's one of them. Everything went well, and then after that one, British title was Pulev, and then everything was going well, but then camp got a cut over the eye 4 weeks previous for the fight, and that just made it downer really. But it was rather lose that opportunity to take that. Like, there's always a good chance of knocking Pulev out. or losing the position or losing the fight. And I don't like to back down from any fight. So in life, you got to just take the opportunity. So it was rather lose that position or just take it. I went over there and took it, and opened up in the second round. Opened up a tiny bit in the first, but in the second round it come over the face, and then the referee come over in the fight and said, basically, you got 1 round left. So my dad says you got to go out in the third. And that's when I went out like a maniac, trying to get rid of him. And then just everything went out the window, game plan, thingy, just all on that thinking the fight's going to get stopped. So, like I say, that was just thingy. But it was a great experience as well, because I believe I was the better fighter there. But I didn't get to show all my skills off, and things got in the way. But like I say, there's no substitute for hard work. You just got to get on with it and buy the gum shield. And like I say, I'm a true believer everything happens for a reason. So you just got to get on with it and get back in there.
A couple of things which you've said, which I just want to pick up on. We'll go back to the Parker fight. When I was looking over social media, listening to what people were saying in the arena, they were saying that even though Parker couldn't actually land many of his punches on you, he just seemed the busier of the two, and that's why the judges seemed to give him a decision. Could you see why the judges would have given him a decision on that perspective?
No, listen, like I say to you, you only come forward. Like I say, I was a bit on the back foot a bit too much, but it's not for the fact of that. You can't just give someone in a fight if he's just going forward. Look, to be honest with you, Joshua only landed the jab on him as well. He never done anything different. But it's one of them. You don't thingy about it. But I do believe that fight there, I was the better person in that fight, and I would have won it. And like I say, if it happened again, it'd be a different person, a different fight again.
Could be an interesting fight. If it was put to you, would you like to have that rematch?
Yeah, like I say to you, all the fights I've had and failed in, I'd love to definitely have these fights, because I don't class them as losers or losses. I class them as learning curves. So definitely, these are fights I would be eager to get, and hopefully the future will bring them fights together.
And on Kubrat Pulev, you mentioned, you went out there and you was looking for the stoppage because you knew that you had to put it on him. You haven't been notoriously known as being someone who stops his opponents. What gives you the confidence in knowing that you would have been able to do so against Pulev?
Yeah, listen, I believe Pulev felt the power of the shots, and I did wobble him in a few stages of the fight. But I just, like you say, when the panic set in and the concentration set in, I was just too looking for it instead of setting it up properly. If it would have set up properly, it would have come naturally. But where I was so in a rush, thinking the fight's going to get stopped, and then at the same time, panic set in, gas set in, and then it just literally just all went downhill.
You mentioned gas setting in, panic setting in. As a fighter, when you're in the ring, a huge fight on the brink of challenging for a world title, if you're successful, what's going through your mind in the ring at that moment?
I wouldn't say what's going through your mind is literally, especially when you got a cut that severe and thinking, yeah, they're going to stop this, and yeah, it's going to be over. So you're just trying your best, and everything's not going your way. So you just dig in as much as you can. We haven't got the give up heart in me, but I was trying to the end, and that's it. When things don't go your exactly way and things go all over the show, and you've got someone shouting, this fight's going to get stopped next round, and then this, it just goes all over. But like I say, it's a good learning curve, and you just got to take the positives out of things and then come back stronger.
From the outsiders looking in, they might turn to you and say you're well above British level, but when you've stepped up to world, you've just, whether it be unlucky or you just haven't had the results go your way, you've just missed out on the winning performance. Do you believe that you're maybe just below that, or you're ready for world title fights now?
Listen, there's only one way people can talk and whatever else. I do believe I will be right up there in the top mix, and I believe I am world level. And as this year, hopefully this will show me and get the fights what I need to be back up there and put the performance on what I need.
So talk to me about how you intend on breaking that world scene. Obviously you got Deontay, Tyson and AJ, who are the three who are usually associated with the world level fighters. How do you break into that mould?
It's just basically, we've got a good team behind me and get the right fights. Just need to be aiming in the right direction, and whatever comes where, I don't turn down the fight, as you know. So I'm just looking forward now is getting these fights in and getting many fights as I can.
I was going to try and think of some names and just throw them at you, and you just let me know whether they'd be of interest to you.
It's not about, listen, the names or whatever you say. I'm willing to fight anyone at the high level. It doesn't bother me, it don't faze me at all. these are the fights that I want, and I believe I will get them eventually. You just got to keep drilling forward, and my concentration is in the gym and working on perfecting on all the things what I didn't do, and that's what I've been doing all over Christmas. But people see behind the scenes, I've been in the gym, guts in, guts out. So thing is now is it's okay saying one thing, is doing it.
Can I still throw these names at you?
Go for it.
So we'll start off, obviously, you mentioned Joseph Parker. When would you like that one if it was to be made?
Like I say to you, it wouldn't bother me if it was tomorrow or the next day. These fights here I'm ready for. It's, like I say, they put the names up to me. I believe I've got the right experience, everything's go well. And yeah, all them problems are behind me now. So the fights I'm not afraid to take.
Carlos Takam.
Listen, all these fights, like I say to you, I'm not afraid to take. If these fights will make the right opportunities and the right pressures going forward, then yeah.
How about the stylistically though, in terms of somebody like Takam, very small for a heavyweight, but he just comes in with his head down. How do you cope and try and manoeuvre around that?
Yeah, he's very dangerous, Takam, but he's just come forward and he's just looking for that. He's awkward at the same time with his head and everything like that. So, yeah, these fights here, it's all different styles make fights.
Derek Chisora.
Yeah, another good fighter as well. He done well in these previous fights coming up, but like I say, we can repeat names and keep saying names, but like I say, I'm always willing to fight anyone.
What did you make of Derek's link up with Dave Caldwell?
Yeah, I think Dave Caldwell's a good trainer, and it seemed like he done very well in his last few fights and got him in tremendous shape. So it looked like it was a good combination.
I also just wanted to get your thoughts on the current heavyweight scene with Deontay, Tyson, AJ, in terms of like the network politics. So with Tyson signing with ESPN, AJ with Matchroom and DAZN, Deontay with Showtime and PBC. Do you think those politics will stop those fights from happening down the line?
No, definitely not, because at the end of the day, money outsides anything. When the money's right, then fights will happen.
Well, Hughie Fury, I appreciate the time and thanks for speaking to Boxing Social and wish your dad a happy birthday from me.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.